sell a dream and people don't even see the vision or the dream, it makes it even harder. I just left a gentleman, my business partners were smiling at me, but I just left a gentleman that pretty much left $250,000 on the table because he didn't get something that could have took him 2 hours done and I needed it today. So when you're talking about programmers, when you're talking about designers, public relations, first thing you want to do is reach back out to your people, because that's what I was taught, especially if you were around an HBCU or you went to a university, you were taught to reach back out and help your own. It's hard when they don't do what they say they're supposed to do. And the challenge is knowing that you got to put it on your mask first, but you're trying to save other people before their plane crash. So that's my challenge. My challenge is almost knowing when to say no. Sometimes you just have to learn how to do something. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really powerful statement, and I can definitely relate to that. I think that the leadership of our company are predominantly what people will call minorities. I have a whole different concept of race and stuff because I'm an immigrant, and so I just am coming from a slightly different paradigm. So I never set out to create a minority-owned business. I just looked for the best people that I knew in my network that were willing to take a risk on what we were doing. So within our group, we got somebody from Jamaica, somebody from Philly, somebody from Venezuela, somebody from, North Dakota. It's just somebody from North Carolina. That's just how it kind of happened. And the biggest challenge, or the reason I did that, is related to a challenge I had earlier in my career. And I didn't start out in business. I started out as an artist, vocalist, pianist, guitarist, producer, MC, the whole nine. And I remember doing one project in particular that will be indicative of how I think about team, where we were working with this other band, and they had recruited the best drummer at Berklee School of Music at the time. The kid was an absolute monster. He was just gifted, and he practiced. And when you took his God-given gift with the amount of time he put into it, you couldn't touch this cat. The best drummer in Boston. And for those who don't know, Berklee School of Music is where Quincy Jones went, where John Mayer went, where the drummer for Beyonce's band went. So when we say the best drummer in Boston, we're talking about that is somebody who is now going to play on the world stage with anybody you could hear of. We working with this kid, it's all good. They set up this recording session, and they're like, yeah, we're going to get the band in the studio. I helped them set up the recording session. It's all going to be good. We're going to be there. We're going to do this amazing record. We got the best crew. And we got there, and the drummer was a little bit late, and you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We wait. It's all good, Sip on a little scissor, and show up. And it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes. By the time it gets to 45 an hour, I'm like, that's an African late. Well, we were there. The drummer never showed up at all. The recording session was canceled. And it was this profound moment where I was like, you could have the best person on the planet, but if they don't show up when you need them, it means nothing. And so what I did is I would tap the best person that I know and that I could believe in. And I started that, almost 20 years ago, a lot older than I look. 20 years ago, just cultivating the best person that I know, And that got to the point where when we started this project, which we only launched the venture, we started recruiting the team 2 years ago, but we didn't launch until July. Once we knew we had all the right people and only the right people, we launched. And what wound up happening after 20 years of building a network through entertainment and tech and media and whatever, is that the best people we knew and that we could believe in also happen to be among the best people out there. So when you're putting together a team, literally you're only as strong as your weakest link. It sounds like a cliche, but it's true. Because if one person you depend on doesn't show, everybody suffers. And so we are very careful about who we work with.
Your story kind of hit with me. When I was starting Socially Buzz, what Social Buzz is right now wasn't supposed to be what it is. What they're calling an influencer program right now, as far as using people that has a great influence to promote a brand. We were going to start it 5 years ago. So just like that, we hired a programmer once again, and that's why programs like this is important because by then I didn't know how to code. I know a little bit, but I didn't know how to do it myself, right? So seeing stuff like this is like very interesting because I'll support it any day, anytime. So to go back to the story, so we invested a lot of money in this program to develop this influencer program for us. 2 months passed, never really see anything going on. So I'm like, okay, give it another month. Another month passed, nothing. So all of a sudden the guy disappeared. So now I'm out thousands of dollars and nothing to show for it, right? So it was either quit everything and just call it a day, go work 9 to 5, or just continue. So with that, I guess with the way I was built, I don't quit, right? So I just continue with Socially Buzz. I round up the people that's around me, and we just started the Socially Buzz, where this was before anyone started doing the do-it-for-you model, where it was social media. So we called some business and said, hey, we could do your social media for you, right? Let us do all the social media. Let us come put all the copies and the content for you. And just so happened they bought into it, and then from that helped us, took us from our third client that we landed was Domino's Pizza. Right? So I never look back and say, oh, I'm pissed that the guy took. If I was to see him today, I'll probably just give my handshake, right? I believe that everything happened for a reason. So I think that was one of the biggest thing we came across launching the company.
Real quick, he's being very modest. This is pretty much, this was Hootsuite. If you guys know Hootsuite, this is Hootsuite before it was even invented. I remember him telling me what he was going to do on the phone. So this is what I'm saying. The guy, the programmer that didn't show up, could have been a part of something that could have been the Hootsuite now. So you look at the evaluation, even though he's doing $2 million, go look at the evaluation of the IPO of Hootsuite and realize if he would have been just a little bit on the wrong time, that could have been them the first one. He would have been the first one to market instead of now chasing the market.
All right. So this panel is about game changers. So I want you all to tell me what a game changer is to you. I think it's somebody who follows their passion, somebody who has an inner vision and stays true to that inner vision. Because when you're starting your businesses, say for instance, Fever's Pops, everybody popped up after us. Everybody wanted to create popsicles, but they don't have the same passion for customer service. They don't have the same brand experience. They can copy it, but they can't duplicate it. All right, so tell me what you think a game changer is and why you are a game changer. Yes, start with you. This is ping pong, so
when it comes to game changer, I don't think it's so much as developing things for yourself, but saying, hey, I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I think more the effects that happen after you do something, right? Who does it affect, or who does it affect as far as the people around you, the community that you're supporting? How does the product or the service or whatever you're creating, how does that change? How is it going to help people to change? How is it going to help people to do better, right? Like I consider Code Fever to be a game changer, right? Because that's going to help the smaller ones that's coming up in the community to know how to do things that myself or some of these guys don't know how to do or didn't know how to do when we needed it the most, right? And I know you probably could have saved thousands of dollars if something like Code Fever existed. So just to put it, game changer, I don't think game changer is the person, but I think it's the things you do that helps to affect the people around you.
Yeah, I've always had this sort of thought that, so again, coming from the entertainment industry, there's a lot of people talk a lot of big game. And what you find, particularly in the music industry, is the person who is at the height of their power today is like a foregone conclusion, an afterthought, absolutely, tomorrow. And it's just the nature of the cycle. And everyone, in hip hop in particular, there's an element of braggadocio, like I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, and I'm that, which is cool. It's a cultural thing, and there's a reason people do it. But there's a problem when you take it too much to heart. And I always had this thought that leadership is not declared, it's evidenced, right? You're a leader, people are willing to follow you, not just because you said that you're the best. So I think, to me, a game changer is someone who's able to set a standard that is worth following and do it in such a way that people follow them. And that where they follow them to is better than where they were before, right? Because it's not enough to just be like, I'm dope. it's not enough to go out there and I used to work with this youth organization, and I would tell them some of these brilliant kids. And I'll be like, you know, y'all are so gifted. You have such an opportunity. Many of you came from very humble upbringings, and it was like you're out there with your little army and everyone is struggling to get by, and somebody just gave you like big legs and shoulders and a mighty arm and like a magic sword. And you out there just slaying the enemy, just and all of a sudden, nothing can stand in your way. You slice through these kids like butter. Next thing you know, you're out here, and your entire crew is way back there, and you're surrounded by the enemy. What do you do then? Take your big arm and your magic sword, and you put it down, and you get quiet, and you flow with that new system. That is not a game changer, right? It's not enough to go. It's not even enough to go in a way that people wish they could follow you. To truly be a game changer in my mind, you gotta go, and you've gotta carry your community in a way. It doesn't mean that you don't put your mask on first, but it does mean that your actions make it possible in a tangible way for other people to also fulfill their own promise. And I think that we are uniquely poised to do that in our generation. The generations before that, us did it with much more difficult circumstances. And I think sometimes we lose track of that. So I think that game change has to be put in context of what is the nature of the game and who are you playing with.
Bam. Nobody
Game changer.
No, I think that says a lot, because when I look at game changers, I look at the people that I feel I've been able to meet that were game changers. Oddly enough, I think most of the time our biggest game changers don't get the recognition they should. And for me, it would be Felicia and Derek. You have to see in the community of what's going on in South Florida, there was a lot of things that were happening that nobody knew about, and everybody was just talking about. So you have to look at Felicia and Derek, primarily Bob, and it happens to be a Knight Foundation to a lot of the community that didn't understand the power of what the Knight Foundation could do. And it was a clarity of their mission of what they were setting out to say, you can also do these things. So I mean, we applaud you guys, because that's why we're here tonight. Because you got to think, if they weren't doing it, who else is doing this right now? So it's about, like you said, it's leading by example, but it's following your passion of knowing no matter what you're doing, it's what you were meant to do. So not to get too spiritual, but you got to know your God-given path. If you don't want to get spiritual, but you want to get into a book, you think of the Alchemist. What's your personal legend? You know, what's your treasure? And I think as we get led to those treasures, you go through the distractions. You're constantly going to hear what you can't do or what you shouldn't do. But you got to know what you were set for. And I look at my father. He was a game changer to me because he did the heaviest amount of recruitment for the government through the engineering program through Tuskegee University. He went to UF, but he said he was going to go back and recruit to Tuskegee because he remembered Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver, and he made that his goal. And I didn't realize I was following my father's path because diversity and inclusion was a big thing. And that's what he did. He brought some of the best talent that was getting overlooked from HBCUs and made them get included. And when you start seeing it, you'll realize your leaders are probably already around you. And those are the people you should look up to, and it starts with that core of your house. So I think the game changers to me are people that are silently outspoken. They don't say anything, but they change everything around you.
Game changer. Sort of piggybacking off what both of the two guys said, lead by example. Also, I think that being your own self-diagnostic test. You know, just keeping it real with yourself. You know, and accepting what's in front of you, and accepting the fact that sometimes you're not going to be the best. Accepting the fact that sometimes you have to just face reality. You know, and take a step back. As long as you have structure, as long as you have an idea of what it is that you're looking to do, and you know, and scratching that a little bit, but why? I think the reason why people don't reach a lot of their goals are because you don't give yourself enough reasons to go and get it. I'm not talking about, I want to be a millionaire because I want to get it. That's not going to help out. To me, what helped me out personally with changing the game and accepting the failure and all the mistakes that happened in the beginning was I had to give myself a reason why I'd like to be successful. And my reason to be successful, I mean, whatever it may be, everyone's different. My reason to be successful is I had a 6-month-old daughter. And I said, you know what, I'm going to put out and set forth to be successful because of her. And from there, I continue to pursue. But to sort of wrap things up, I think it's just keeping it real with yourself, being your own self-diagnostic test, and facing the facts. And as far as leadership, I just don't think that, as he mentioned, I just don't think that I don't see a lot of people coming together. People don't come together in our community. Him and I had a brief conversation outside, and I use the music industry for an example. If you look at what happened in New Orleans, I'm sure you guys heard of the rapper Master P. There was so many small rappers that all wanted to just make it happen. For some reason, they were able to do their own self-diagnostic test, take a step back, and understand this guy's going to be our leader. In today's day and age, because of social media, because of all these cool apps, everyone wants to be what an owner. Everyone wants to own companies now. But the truth is, it's not going to happen. It's very, very stressful. And my thing is to be a game changer, you have to be real with yourself. As an entrepreneur, don't focus on why you're going to make it. I focus on how will I fail. Because it's your idea, so you think that it's going to work regardless. There's nothing no one else can tell you. But being your own self-diagnostic test to me is the difference between a game changer and just the average Joe.
All right. So everybody has to understand code words. When he says stressful, he's talking about it's a struggle. Being honest with you, it's a struggle. Figuring out, okay, what I'm going to do with this limited budget right now? Okay, so can I sustain myself until this major contract comes in? Because they have a net 30, so I have to wait 30 days in order for that big check to come in. And also to talk about the struggle when he was talking about, his first experience. So you're always going to get knocked down. It's just a matter of picking yourself back up and staying the course. And I have to give a shout out to Matt Hagman with the Knight Foundation. A lot of these series, a lot of these things would not be possible without him. You may have seen one or two because we were going to still do it, but all the programming, the vast amount of programming that we do is thanks to Matt believing in us and believing in the community, wanting to help out the community in Miami. So we also have, Lee Tony's not here, but Miami-Dade Community College, she has always been a person that's supporting us, giving us free space, allowing us to use computers when we didn't have them. So I'd like to give a shout out to both of those organizations and those two individuals. So last question, and then we're going to open it up to all of you so you can figure out what you want to ask me. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see Miami in 5 years?
Big pong. Where do I see myself in the company in 5 years? I see us restructuring the whole auto transportation industry. First and foremost, auto transportation, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but I'll give you guys a brief description of what it is that I do so you have a better understanding. Auto transportation, if you ever shipped a car before, going across coast to coast, you've probably experienced it where you log online, you type in one of the major keywords, auto shipping, auto transport, shipping auto, and the next thing from there is almost like an insurance quote. I like to explain it as you kicked over an ant pile, because the minute you submit your information, but your phone's not going to stop. Your phone's not going to stop. But we're talking late night, thousands of phone calls from people looking to ship their car. Thousands of phone calls from brokers. I started off in the broker industry. Don't get it confused with commodities. This is auto transport broker. Broker just means use the middleman. I started off as a broker, and I just saw the wrath when people would submit their information. I would call them. 15, 20 other companies would call them. So I sat back and asked myself, well, how do I eliminate that? Because if I purchased 1,000 leads, you were doing very well if you converted 5-6%. I asked myself, how do I convert 80%? I think I'm the best thing, I could sell pork to a rabbi, but how do I convert that? So I decided to eliminate the middleman. I said, well, I eliminate the middleman, and I capitalize But how do I stay in business if I'm not charging a broker fee? Because as brokers, we charge a fee. So to connect you to a driver, I charge you $200. So I said, well, what if I drop my price down to $10 a fee? Well, then you have a big headache, and then the profit you think you get based on volume would be going to an extra customer service girl. So that didn't work. So I was like, okay, well, I have to figure something out. And that's when I want to say, the next thing was I wanted to become a lead broker. I knew what I was paying my lead brokers. I'm like, wow, these lead brokers, they generate a lead. Google AdWords costs them $4 to generate that one lead to sell to 15 brokers. So he or she spent $4 to make 15. I'll do that all day. But doing that research, that's when I got introduced to SEO. So I'm sitting back and I'm learning, well, how do I get myself up there, the AdWords, like, how do they do this? Like, why does this pop up? I want to pop up. And that's when I did research and I saw that there was over 1 million people searching to ship cars every single month. I was like, 1 million people shipping cars a month? That can't be right. You figure it's Google, you figure between brokers, consumers, a lot of people may type in a keyword, but everyone's not going to technically submit their information. It's Google, it's pay-per-click. So, did the math, and after doing some extended research, I figured 50% is fair. So there's about 500,000 people really shipping their cars every single month. So I was like, it's a big number. I go, if 500,000 people are shipping their cars every single month, and they're all going through brokers, obviously, because they're online. Well, the average broker fee, we'll say it's $175, but let's round down to 100. 500,000 times 100 is $50 million a month. I go, wow, how do I tap into that number? Now we're talking. I couldn't sleep. I was just writing, and just really stayed focused. And that's when I figured, well, you know what? If a consumer calls me and wants to ship their car, and I give them a price too high, they're going to say, I'll just jump in the car and drive it myself. But now here's the carrier who needs that car. The carrier, why? Because he has a truck, he has truck payments, he has insurance, he has fuel, hotels, expenses while he's on the road. So I was like, all right, well, I think that the carrier needs this more than the consumer needs it. So I took the industry and I reversed it. So now I'm catering to the carriers. So what I did was now I'm giving consumers a free transportation. When I mean free, it's they're not paying a broker fee anymore. So I'm giving the consumer transportation at cost. And I reversed it. Now the carriers are paying me because the carriers don't like brokers because brokers play with their money. And just not just within the industry, we're talking general public. There's been constant news articles and actual news station walking into offices that kids, because you have credit cards, how you take a broker fee is through a credit card. So when I sort of took that and took the fact that the carriers don't like it, consumers don't like it because the price is high. So I said, let me just give it to my cost, and I reversed it and made carriers pay me. So currently, not to take up too much time, there's 64,000 carriers in the country, and I currently have 10,000 carriers at $100 a month. That's $1 million a month. Not bad. So I'm at 10,000. We're in beta. We're in beta version right now. We've been coding since I've had these 2 solid programs. I've been going for about 6.5, 7 months, and these guys work very, very fast and very clean coding because my next door neighbor happens to code for Citrix. So we sit there and we talk back and forth. He's like, you have yourself a winner. So in 5 years, I think that we take over. I think because it's such a small niche industry, Department of Transportation don't care about it. It's so small. So I think in 5 years, I see us completely taken over to where I almost want to be because we created and trademarked the logo, besides the company logo, we created and trademarked I call it Direct Dispatch Seal of Approval. I almost want to make that the Better Business Bureau of truckers, meaning if a truck come pick your vehicle up and they don't have that logo on it, I don't trust them. So in 5 years, I see Department of Transportation sort of make us almost like insurance, like you have to come through us. If you don't come through us, you're not complying. And DOT just don't care about it. So that's down the road. But in the beginning, partner tell you that we sit back and I do no marketing, no SEO right now. Because we're in beta version, we're knocking out bugs and so much going on with the codes that I don't want to offer anything, but I also want it live on Google, so that way when I do take off, oh man, he's had 4 or 5 years on Google, he's had 4 or 5 years on the internet, blah, blah, blah.
So I want to give us a quick explanation. You said you had a PHP and then you had Node. So why did your developers choose those, and what did your Citrix friend have to say about that?
I told you I don't talk about it.
I'm going to say, you understand why.
I happen to understand that. PHP is an old engine, I guess they call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been out since I think 1992, I could be wrong. Node.js, what it is JavaScript is the client side. And what Node.js is, they've been able to take JavaScript client and move it to server side. So by utilizing, what's the term I'm looking for? Utilizing, the reason why Node.js, based on my understanding, the reason why we prefer Node.js is because our software is still in real time. You know, because we're talking consumers, another thing that we offer is consumers can track their vehicles. Go online right now and try to track your vehicle. It doesn't happen. You can't. Your car's on the back of a truck, you cross your fingers, you're hoping to make it home. You know, but with the reason why we chose Node is because it's real time, it's fast. Consumers go online, type in their order number, type in their email, verify, boom. Okay, your truck just left Miami, it's in Fort Lauderdale now. So that's why we chose Node, because it's fast.
All right. Mike? I'll go backwards. 5 years, what I see in Miami is the possibility of being the Silicon Valley of the East. Reason why I say that is because of the amount of money in the transactions that happen from Miami to South America. With the business growth and technology growth of mobile devices in South America, with 70% of South America accessing the internet for the first time through a mobile device, I think we'll have a large part to do with that. Now, on the reverse side, what do I see Miami? In the same pitfalls of Silicon Valley if we don't do anything to change what's going on right now in Silicon Valley. Everybody here, I'm sure, knows about Silicon Valley. When did you first hear about Silicon Valley? If you heard about Silicon Valley for the first time within the last 5 years, raise your hand. You heard about Silicon Valley within the last 10 years, raise your hand. 20 years. Okay. See how the number just keeps going down? Silicon Valley is not new, but it's new to us. Technology and coding is not new, but it's new to us. Multi-billion-dollar deals are not new, but y'all think Dre was the first one to do it. This is where Miami would be if we don't change it. When you talk about diversity, when you talk about it, we have to start to glamorize it. I don't want to teach this young man in the front, beautiful children in the backpack. Rick Ross is the ideology of what to look up to. No, Andre, it's 2 million. 2 million? They don't understand Mark Zuckerberg money. They don't know what $50 billion looks like. They know what Jordans look like. They know what a car with, not even a Bentley, they know about a box Chevy with dumps. That's what they know about. So if you try to shoot too high, we're going to miss them. And there's so many kids with just pure raw talent. And I hate to say it, but we was talking about the basis of, think about the metrics of a drug dealer. How precise do you have to be with math to sell drugs?
Logistics.
You gotta know where your money's going, where it's coming out. You weighing in ounces. It's a lot of math. But if we could teach that same person on the corner to take a laptop and learn how to code, I could make him $250,000 a year, legit. And he could multiply over and over, and he could have a multi-million-dollar company. He's never going to be a multi-millionaire selling drugs. But I can teach him how to do that with a computer. So, where I see Miami and myself is owning about 3,000% of about 30 small companies that's doing something in technology, because that's what Digital Graphs is doing. Take small minority and diverse business, because like you said, for me, diversity isn't about color. It's everybody that's been pushed against the wall at some point in time. The LGBT community, women, minorities, anybody that just hasn't had that advantage. Because 3-4 generations ago, we weren't voting. We weren't walking into buildings. So it's still new. And until somebody comes out and says, this is what we're going to have to do to change it, we're not going to have the impact that we want. So I'll be here 5 years from now, in the same building, somewhere else probably, having this conversation. These guys would be multimillionaires and they would have hired 30 more people. Derek and Felicia would have taught about